Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are going to be doing some fashion studies with my OC Hope. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. I do have some references that I'm gonna go ahead and put up on the screen for you guys as each of the each of the drawings I do. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and put up the first reference right here, just in case you want to follow along. So this is gonna be like the first in like I guess a series that I'm planning on doing of like I'm doing a study on Thursdays. I said this like a couple of weeks ago that I was gonna start doing studies on Thursdays, and I'm actually finally starting. Yay! These are just a couple of fashion studies for my OC Hope. As I draw the outfits, I realized that they are not really like outfits that would suit Hope. Um, I don't know if you guys know anything about Hope. I talked a little bit about his story in some sketchbook tours that he showed up in. So Hope is not really like the main character of his story. He's actually a side character in his story. Um, but I do have that fondness for side characters. So he's just the one that I focus on a lot. The main character in the story is actually like just some guy. I guess I could get into explaining the story a little bit. I think I've talked about that it's kind of supposed to be a comedy. So it's like a comedy slice of life and also part like battle manga, basically. Um, it's actually it's not like super confusing to explain, but just give me a second while I collect my thoughts. Basically, the gist of the story is that there is this guy, James, and he works at like a restaurant while he works his way through college. And he's just like a normal guy. And so that's where like the slice of life aspect comes in, right? But in the background of his story being like a little slice of life guy, there's like a bunch of other stories. Like everybody is like the main character in their own story, right? So the side characters in James's weird little slice of life story are like demons, like Hope. Hope is a demon. Specifically, he is a Prince of Hell, the seventh Prince of Hell. And then there's also his two co-workers who are married, and they are basically spies on the run from their prospective governments. And then there's also his other co-worker who is an alien, and then there's stuff going on with his boss. And so basically the joke is that he's making his way through like his slice of life comic while everybody else is like doing weird wacky things in the background, and it's supposed to be like a comedy. I feel like that could be also kind of boring though. I mean, not boring, but like frustrating to like the audience. So basically after a certain point, after like the gag gets old, it's supposed to move into those other characters having like arcs to wrap up their stories that are going on in the background. Like James learns of each of their stories that are going on in the background, and he basically helps them solve the issues that they've been running from by working at this restaurant. So that's basically the premise. And Hope is like the first one that James helps solve his problems. I mean, it's not really solving his problems because our Hope's story has like a bunch of arcs in it, just because he's supposed to like fight all of his brothers, and he's like the youngest of seven. So that way he could like take over hell or whatever, or basically just so he can defeat his father for like murdering his mother, basically. But that's like super complicated. I'm not really gonna get into that. And so basically, there's like five stories like that. So that's like kind of like the joke. I know that sounds like super complicated and also kind of like, ugh, that's like a lot going on. But that's also like supposed to be like the whole joke thing. So yeah, even though James is like the main character of the story, he's just a normal guy, so I don't really have like super motivation to draw him. But I like Hope. Hope is like my friend. Not like my friend. He's like my baby, you know? And so I have a lot of his story already planned out, and so for a while I was just drawing him a lot. He was like my what's it called? My muse for a long time. I haven't really drawn him too much lately because I've been focusing on Duke and their story, and now I have my two new mafia couple OCs that I've been drawing. And so I was like, well, I guess for my fashion study, I had to draw guys anyway because I wanted to focus on men's fashion. So I decided that I was just gonna go ahead and draw Hope. And the reason why I decided to focus on men's fashion for this first study is because I'm like, I don't know what men wear. I'm not a man, so I don't know what men's fashion looks like. But these outfits that I picked out, I just went on Pinterest and typed in men's fashion aesthetic, and these were the ones that popped up. And literally, I don't feel like any of them are really Hope's aesthetic except maybe the first one. So Hope, his aesthetic, I think, is more like gym rat, if that makes sense. So, but none of these outfits scream gym rat. They're all like high fashion. Not like high fashion, but like not like casual looks. I don't think. I don't know though. You can see me here trying to draw shoes. I try to draw shoes literally 3 times. I do 3 sketches here. I can't get the shoes right on any of them. So I think our study for next week is gonna be shoes. Because I'm not great at legs, like that bottom half of the body. I'm getting better at legs, but I'm still really shit at shoes. So I'm really just trying to figure it out. I think what part of the problem is I don't know how to draw feet. Like I have trouble like breaking down feet into like shapes. So when you see me draw the rest of the body, you see me break it down into like shapes. Like the torso is basically just like a square, like a rectangle, and then it's just like pointed at the bottom just so I can angle out the pelvis or whatever. And then the head is like a circle. I don't have to draw the head as a circle anymore just because I've drawn the head as a circle so many times. It's like embedded deep into like my muscle memory, so I don't really have to draw circles for heads anymore. But for the rest of the body, I still break it down into shapes. It's just that for feet, I have so much trouble breaking the feet up into shapes. Um, and I'm just like, I don't know what shapes feet are. And I've tried to look at feet, and it's like these the shapes are like built on top of each other. So I'm what also I have trouble with is viewing bodies or drawing in like 3D space. And so like if that makes sense, when you draw, you're supposed to like think of the drawing not as flat as like 2D. You're supposed to think of it as 3D. So that way when you turn it right, you can imagine the shapes in your head. I'm not sure if like I have like enough of an imagination to like really see things in my head like on that scale. I just saw like of a video about this, about the scale of like your imagination, like from 0 to 5, of how much you could imagine things, with 0 being nothing and then the 5 being like a fully detailed picture. I can't see fully detailed pictures in my head. And also I have trouble like rotating things. Like when I drive, if I'm coming back the way that I came, I sometimes get lost. I have to put the GPS on because I can't flip things in my mind and still recognize it as the same. And so I have trouble with 3D shapes, and I feel like feet. I feel like feet are really super like shapes built on top of each other, and that's probably why I struggle with it, especially getting like the shape of feet down. So hopefully with these shoe studies, it will help me out a little bit, and also I can start drawing some shoes that don't just look like weird Converse. Because I want to have like good outfits in my stories and stuff, right? I mean, I don't want to just put people in the same shirt and pants every single time, because designing clothes for characters is also part of character design, and so it helps them stand out from each other because not everybody is going to have the same like style or like same aesthetic. And so I'm trying to pinpoint some aesthetics for different characters so it's not just t-shirt and pants. So that's the point of the studies that we're doing right now. And we're already starting another drawing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put the reference up for you guys right here. Um, and so the reference for this guy, he actually already kind of looked like Hope. And so basically I just redrew the picture but made the guy into Hope instead. Like I've been trying to think of ways to draw Hope's hair down. Usually, as you can see, his hair is put up in like this bun with like his 2 locks hanging off to the side. Just because I think it's a cute look. I'm not sure if that look really informs his character design. But I'm like super attached to it. So I'm not gonna change his appearance. Um, I know like I said, I like to have characters that are character designs that are really focused on story. But I'm really attached to Hope's character design. And he's got like demon ears, so you can tell that he's not like a human. Um, and he does have like sharp teeth, but you can't see them right now. Um, but yeah, so basically all I did was I just stole a guy's haircut. Basically the way that he styled his locks, because I've always tried to think of ways to style Hope's locks when they're down, because like I said, I typically always draw him with his hair up, and I'm like, that's cute, but sometimes I want to draw him with different hairstyles. Like for a while, I was thinking that maybe, with Hope's personality, he's like a guy who likes to change his appearance. For a while, I thought about that, so I was like, well, maybe at one point I'll have him like cut his locks off, and he'll like make them like try different hairstyles. But I was like, oh, I really like his locks, so maybe I won't do that. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it all really depends on whether or not I actually end up making a comic for their story. Because specifically for their story, I feel like it only works in like a comic format, or like maybe like a TV animation or something. I don't really feel like it works as a book, just because the plans I have for each of their stories is I plan for them to be really long, and like have like like how anime and manga have like they have like arcs in the story. I would plan for each of their stories to be like an arc. And so if you guys are familiar with anime and manga, an arc can be like super long. And so I just feel like it fits manga or not manga, a comic way better than it would fit with a what's it called? With a book. And but I'm like, I don't think I'm confident enough in my art skills to like actually draw a comic currently. I can't even draw legs or shoes. I'm just it's fine if you can't draw legs and shoes and you want to start a comic. Lots of people do that. If you have a story that you want to tell, I would not tell you to wait until your art catches up with your story because the art really doesn't matter. And well, not to say that art doesn't matter. Like good art is great and it's important or whatever. But you can tell a good story with like mediocre art. Like there's lots of people who do that. Like their art style is people are like, oh, I'm not sure sure about that art. That art's kind of ugly, but they have a really good story. And so people will forgive bad art, but they will not forgive bad writing. But yeah, I'm not entirely confident in my writing either. Just because I've held on to these guys. Oh, how long have I had these OCs? I actually can't remember. It's in one of my previous sketchbooks. I think I invented these guys in like 2016. So they're almost 10 years old now, and so I'm very attached to them. Um, and so I'm like, am I ever gonna write this story? I hope I am one day gonna write this story. I just need to get a little bit more confidence in myself before I do that. I've tried to plan it a lot of times before in the past, and I've always just kind of like let it fall to the wayside. But maybe in 2025, that'll be the year where I get my web comic off the ground. But I guess we'll find out. Sorry that I'm not really talking too much about the art year. It's just because since I'm using a reference, I'm not really doing anything other than copying the reference. I wouldn't say that I'm really good at copying things from a picture. That's not really where my art focus is. There's some people who are really good at that, which is cool. I don't feel like I'm very good at that. Like this is not like a one-to-one drawing or anything. But I'm basically just going after the reference and trying to make it look as close to the fashion as possible. Like I want it to look like the outfit because that's like the whole point is that I want to learn how to draw different men's outfits. But I think that when I do my search on Pinterest next, I'm gonna have to figure out what keywords to use. Because all of the men's fashion basically looked like these. Like it was like a tight pant and like a loose shirt or like a tight shirt and like tight pants, which is like not a bad combo. And but it's not really what I'm going for. And there's this one outfit. It was like a men's romper when it was like open, like really with like a really deep V and then like shorts. And I was like, that is an outfit. I want to draw him in that outfit. Unfortunately you do not see me draw him in that outfit just because I couldn't download the picture. I don't know why it wouldn't let me it I don't know, Pinterest doesn't let you download pictures. And I guess I understand why because people be stealing a lot of stuff and uploading it on other places. But I'm pretty sure that Pinterest is a place where people steal a lot of stuff and upload it. I promise I'm not stealing the picture. I'm just trying to use it as a reference. Shout out to whoever took those pictures. You took lovely pictures of men's outfits. So yeah, I just decided that I was gonna make these fashion studies into my boy Hope here, just because it was gonna make it more fun for me. I don't really like to study when it comes to art. I would like to improve, but I just think that studies are kind of boring. I never really studied when I was in school. I was one of those kids who was like, I don't need to study. I took notes in class and I would get pretty good grades that way. I would have got better grades if I was studying. But in school, especially in like the current school system, it's all just like rote memorization. And then after you memorize something, you can just throw it out of your brain. You don't have to think about it anymore. After you pass the test, and which is not a great way, for learning. You actually don't learn anything that way. And then also, all you do is you learn to cram. You don't actually really learn how to study, and so that you can learn. And so I never really learned how to study. Even in college, I didn't really study. I studied a couple times because some things were like really hard for me to grasp. I had to take some science classes and also math classes. I'm not great at math, and so for those I tried to study. But yeah, I'm not really good at studying. I don't know exactly how to study, and I know the things that I should be studying if I want to get better at art. It's just that I find studying so boring. Um, and so just I was like, well, if I'm gonna do a study, I'm gonna make it fun. So I'm gonna draw my OCs. If you've been on my channel, you know I like to draw my OCs. I just love those little guys so much. And so if I'm gonna make it fun, I have to make it my OCs. Okay. I can't just draw random guys off the street because I'm sure they're lovely and they're nice people. But like, I don't know you guy. Okay. I can't just spend all day drawing some guy I don't know. So yeah, if you guys are like me, I would just go ahead and recommend trying to find a way to make studying more fun for you. Maybe it's by drawing your OCs out of the studies that you make, or something else. Like every 10 minutes you study, you give yourself a little treat, or you take like a 5 minute break or something. I think the way you're supposed to study is you're supposed to like take a 5 minute break. Like if you study for 30 minutes, you take a 5 minute break, and then if you study for an hour, you take like a 10 minute break or something. Like I said, I don't know anything about studying. Mostly I just brute force my way through it until I get what I want done. Uh, but that's not really a good way to make sure that you're studying and like actually absorbing the material. But yeah, we're starting on the third drawing now, so I'm just go ahead and put the reference up for this one, up for you guys as well. So you see basically all of the outfits that I'm gonna draw for this video. And so I prefer the first outfit. I just feel like it's a little bit more of Hope's style. I know I said that none of these drawings really fit his style, and I agree. I don't I mean, I agree, obviously, I said it, but, yeah, the first one is probably more something that he would wear. I wouldn't really see him wearing any of the other outfits, but the third drawing is probably my favorite one. I just feel like it came out the best, um, in, like, terms of, like, his body or whatever, but that's just probably because my hand was warmed up from drawing the other two drawings. And so I'm like, oh, this one came out pretty cute. And also his expression, he has like a little smile on his face. The other ones, he does not have a smile on his face. I don't really typically draw Hope with much expression on his face. I think I talked about this in the video from yesterday. I have this thing where I like to draw characters who have like whose character trait is like they have like a blank expression on their face, a blank expression on their face, and like they don't emote much. I think that's just because I am a person who typically has like a blank expression on their face, and I don't emote much. And I have like a kind of monotone tone of voice. And so I'm like, oh, you know how authors and artists are, they're always like incorporating themselves into their art or whatever. And so I tend to do that subconsciously and sometimes not so subconsciously. And so I tend to make my characters like myself a little bit. And so I always tend to give them at least one person out of every story is like a monotone type person. I'm trying not to do that so much anymore. Um, I mean, I'm already super attached to Hope, so I'm not gonna change his personality too much, or the fact that he doesn't emote, just because I love him so much and he's my friend. Well, not my friend. I keep calling him my friend. I don't mean that he's my friend. He's not real, obviously, but I'm attached to him in the way that people are attached to their creations. So yeah, I don't really want to change his personality too much. I don't mind his personality, and I came up with a story reason for why he's like that anyway. And so, and also it's my story, so I get to do what I want. So yeah. Also, this outfit came with a little bag, and I was like, I get to draw accessories. I drew a watch on the other guy, on the second drawing, just because that guy had a watch. And I was like, I never accessorize. Personally, I only wear like some earrings. I never put accessories on just because I'm like, what do I need accessories for? I'm just going to work or to the store. Like, what's the point of dressing up? And also, I don't like having things dangling on me. I'm like, it's in the way. Um, but my characters are not me, so I need to draw them with some accessories. Like a lot of people wear watches, so why shouldn't I wear him? Why shouldn't I draw him wearing a watch? It makes sense. A lot of people wear watches. A lot of people carry bags. I don't carry bags. I mostly just shove things in my pockets. But that's not everybody. So yeah, I try to I struggle thinking of like clothes and accessories just because I'm like, I don't care about clothes or accessories. But I need to care about them for my characters just because they're their own people. They're not gonna think the same way as me, which is good. Like you don't have to write people who they're the same as you. It's actually probably more fun and interesting if you write people who are not like you. Basically, I'm just trying to fight the instinct I have to just like put my own personal experience into like stories that I write or whatever. Which is a little bit hard for me just because it's pretty much subconscious most of the time. I don't notice that I'm doing it, but now that I have noticed, I'm trying not to do that anymore. So yeah. Just a little side note, we're getting pretty close to the end of the video. I know we have about 4 minutes left, but I did end up losing some footage for this. So we're not gonna see the coloring for these drawings, which is okay. I really didn't do that much coloring anyway. I basically just colored in like a couple of shirts and some of the pants. I didn't do any hatching for these drawings except for on his hair, which is the footage that I lost anyway. I think you see the hatching I do for his for the first drawing, but other than that, I think that all of the hatching got lost. I think it's because I got a phone call or something or text, and it cut my camera off because I do record with my phone. I don't have a separate camera to record with just because I'm not made of money. Like I bought this microphone just because it was cheap, but I felt like my camera on my phone was good enough for the video, but the audio on my like laptop to record um audio would not be good to record with. So I was like, well, I'll focus on the audio first, and then I'll see about getting a camera later if I still end up doing these videos for like a whole year. Maybe if I do these videos for a whole year, then I'll upgrade my camera setup. But I don't want to get like a whole camera and then I'm like sick of doing videos after like a month or two. Um Obviously I did not get sick of doing videos after a month, but it's only month two, so I could still get sick of doing this. But hopefully not. So yeah, just so you guys know, if you're like, hey, why did the video cut off? It's because I lost the footage. I really don't know what happened there, but that's okay. Yeah, it's not like I lost like the footage of me drawing anything. Just some hatching and the coloring. If I had like finished the video, like finished the drawing, and I had like missed the drawing of his face, I would have been like supremely devastated just because the face is my favorite part to draw, and I feel like it's the most important. Usually I tend to draw it first. I don't know why on this drawing I waited till the end. Um but I did. I think it was because I was, like, really liking the way that the body was coming out, and I was like, "Well, if I mess up the face, it's gonna make me, like, super upset." Because, like I said, I think that the face is the most important part of the drawing. It's really where your eyes are drawn to first, so if I fucked up the face, I would've been like, "I have to cover up this whole thing. I feel like I did such a good job." Um, if I messed up the face, though, I wouldn't have covered up the whole thing. I would've just slapped a sticky note over his face, and redrew it, but then I feel like if I add the sticky notes, it, like, messes up the cohesion of, like, the whole page. But who cares, right? It's a sketchbook drawing. These are all just sketchbook drawings. It's okay if sometimes they're shitty. Sometimes art is shitty. That's okay. So I'm just finishing off his face here now, and then you're just gonna see me draw his locks really quick. Um, I guess I'm drawing his ears in, but and then you'll see me draw his little earrings. He does wear a set of earrings. I don't draw them every time just because his locks on the side of his face typically cuts them off. But he does wear earrings, just one set of gold ones. No story reason behind that. I just thought he'd look cute with them. I can add a story reason for them though. I have to think about it a little bit. And then I just go ahead and draw his locks. I've been drawing Hope for a long time, so it's actually really fast for me just to draw his locks really shorthand. Just when you draw characters more, you figure out like shortcuts and ways to like draw them faster. And since I draw Hope, I used to draw Hope a lot. I just got really quick at drawing his locks. Like, look at how fast that was. And I drew all of this really fast. For this video, usually it takes me a really long time to draw full bodies, but this process went really good because I talked about this in other videos this week, but I had a lot of fun doing the drawings this week and they just flowed really easily for me. So yeah, this is the end of the video now. This is just me showing you guys the finished artwork because like I said, I lost some of the footage. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed spending time with me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!